Hey there, folks. So, I have just been waiting for this one. So, with the latest gameplay reveals, I have a picture of what Fable 4 looks like. Now, here are 20 crazy confirmed things about Fable 4 that have me completely losing my mind with excitement. Let's begin. New 2026 Gameplay Overview Trailer. The latest Fable gameplay overview from the Xbox developer Direct 2026 is honestly the most substantial thing we've seen yet. Okay, so it opens in the village of Briar Hill, and let me tell you, the visual jump from the previous games is one of the first things you'll notice. Easily 10 on 10. Seeing the transition from playing as a child to a fully grown hero was a total nostalgia trip for me. The trailer also gave us our first look at a standout moment where the hero is fighting a massive cockatrice. Rebooted timeline. New hero. It is time to put the old stories to bed because, well, this is a reboot. We're returning to Albion, but the developers at Playground Games have made it clear that this isn't a direct sequel to Fable 3. We aren't bound by the Industrial Revolution or the specific bloodlines of the previous heroes. No, there's a brand new protagonist. I think this will give the writers a clean slate to reinvent Albion's magic. It's a new beginning in every sense of the word, and I'm relieved that I don't need a history degree to understand what's going on. Open world action RPG, go anywhere. I remember the original games having those glowing breadcrumb trails and loading screens between every forest and town. Well, those days are over. This new Fable is a truly open world action RPG. So once you step out of your initial village, the entirety of Albion is yours to explore. You can freely travel between vast regions without any artificial barriers. For me, the idea of seeing a castle on the horizon and knowing I can actually walk there is actually what the series needed. Platforms: Xbox, PC, and PS5. This is probably the biggest shocker of the reveal. Fable will be available on the Xbox Series X and S, Windows PC, and PlayStation 5. I had to check my calendar to make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day, when I first saw this. Seeing a flagship Xbox Game Studios title hit the PS5 on day one is a big shift for the industry. And, while it might be a weird adjustment for longtime fans, it just means more people get to experience the British charm of Albion. Autumn and Fall 2026 release window. So, Fable is coming in autumn 2026. Now, I know there were some delays earlier that pushed it out of the original 2025 window, but, it's okay. I'm glad they took the extra time. Almost another few months of hype is something I can definitely handle if it means the game launches in a finished state. Day one Game Pass and Xbox Play anywhere. Even with the move to other platforms, Microsoft is keeping the best value with themselves. Fable will be a day one Game Pass title. I can jump in immediately without dropping $70. Sign me up. And hey, Fable 4 supports Xbox Play Anywhere. This means if you buy it digitally on Xbox, you can also own it on PC, and your save files sync perfectly between the two. Gotta love this feature because I often start a session on my console in the living room and finish it on my laptop in bed. What can I say? Modern gaming is all about accessibility. Style-weaving combat. Melee, ranged, and magic. The combat has been completely rebuilt into what Playground calls style-weaving. Instead of being locked into one role, you're encouraged to mix melee strikes, ranged attacks, and magic in a single flow. In the developer direct footage, I saw the hero knock an enemy back with a heavy sword strike, immediately pull out a bow to hit a target in the distance, and then finish the group with a fire spell. If you find the combat in older Fable games to be a bit clunky, you'll no longer complain about it with, Fable 4. Subjective, reputation-based morality. Good versus evil bar? It's a thing of the past. This time around, morality is subjective and based on reputation. So, there's no objective scale that tells the universe you're good or bad. If you do something evil in the middle of a forest where no one's looking, your public reputation won't change. But if you do it in the middle of a town square, people will remember. Like crows. Crows always remember your face when you don't give them a bite of your sandwich. Anyways, Different NPCs might even have different views about morality, so, you could be a hero to the criminals and a villain to the law-abiding citizens. That's messed up, but okay. Living population of 1,000 plus handcrafted NPCs. They have confirmed a living population of over 1,000 handcrafted NPCs. Every single one of them has a name, a home, a job, and a specific daily schedule. Voiced interactions and unique personalities? Yes, you got it. I can't wait to see how they will react to my hero. Property ownership, businesses, and housing. The economic sim part of Fable is back. You can enter nearly every building in the game, and many of them are available for purchase. This includes personal housing, where you can hang your trophies and rest, but it also extends to businesses and commercial properties. I've always spent way too much time in these games just trying to become the ultimate landlord of Albion, and it looks like I'll be doing that again. Landlord playstyle and homeless tenants. This is where the game gets a bit dark and, hilariously, Fable. If you decide to play as a landlord, you can evict your tenants. The developers have confirmed that doing this can effectively make those NPCs homeless. And they won't just disappear into the digital void either. These newly homeless NPCs will wander the streets and they will be vocal about their situation. They'll gossip about you, tell other villagers how cruel you are, and it will actively damage your reputation in that region. I think that's a brilliant, if slightly mean, way to show the weight of your choices. Being a slumlord is a way to become the most hated person in town, and I'm curious to see how far you can push it. Giant Quest, corpse landmark, and property prices. The Richard Ayoade Giant Quest is the best example of how your actions have physical consequences in the world. Once you deal with a giant, its corpse stays there and becomes a landmark on the hillside that you can see from a distance. But here's the fun part. The presence of a giant rotting body has an effect on the economy. The developers mentioned that house prices in the nearby area will drop because, obviously no one wants to live next to a dead giant. Town-by-town reputation differences. Since reputation is based on witnesses and gossip, it's no longer universal. Each town in Albion has its own opinion of you. You might be the beloved savior of a small village in the north, but if the people in the southern city have only heard rumors of your actions, they might treat you with suspicion. Am I psyched about this? Maybe not, but I still find this so much more interesting than a global fame meter. Romance, marriage, divorce, and children. It wouldn't be Fable without the ability to settle down or completely mess up your personal life. The game features a full romance where you can flirt with, date, and marry the NPCs, and yes, you can even have children. Because these NPCs have their own schedules and personalities, marriage is a lot more than just a checkbox. You have to put in the work to keep the relationship healthy. I mean, if you're a terrible partner and you just never come home because you're busy hunting ballerines, they can and will divorce you. Child origin and Briar Hill disaster. The game's prologue takes us back to the series' roots. You begin as a child in the village of Briar Hill. During a catastrophic event which involves the village being turned to stone, your character's powers manifest for the first time. There is then a time skip that takes you into adulthood. Subjective NPC worldviews and gossip. The social simulation goes even deeper with NPC worldviews. Every person you meet has their own moral compass. Some might admire a hero who is ruthless, while others will be horrified by it. These NPCs gossip amongst themselves, and this word of mouth is what drives the world's reaction to you. I was fascinated to hear that NPCs will actually change their behavior based on the gossip. You might get catcalled or insulted by some NPCs if your reputation is low, while others might offer you marriage proposals on the street if you're a celebrated hero. Shopkeepers might even shift their prices based on whether they like you or they fear you. Wow. I definitely don't want to get catcalled because of less reputation, because, it'll be a new low for me. Returning enemies and cockatrice boss. For those of us who grew up with the original trilogy, seeing a classic enemy return is a highlight. We've already seen confirmation of hobs, balverines, and trolls. but the enemy shown in the recent footage was the cockatrice. The way it moves and uses its environment is a huge step up from the hit it until it dies bosses of the past, you know? Character customization and chicken costume. You can customize your hero's head, hair, and even physical scars earned through combat. The armor and clothing also seem quite nice. And silliness is back on the menu, boys. Yes, the chicken outfit is officially in the game. You can be the savior of Albion, the most powerful mage in the land, and you can do the entire thing while dressed as a giant bird. Playground games and Forza tech engine. It's still wild to me that, the team behind Forza Horizon is making a fantasy RPG. But the tech they're using is world-class. Fable is built on the Forza tech engine, which has been heavily modified to handle character animations, complex AI, and RPG systems. From what we've seen, the engine is more than up to the task. Fairy tale presentation, unsafe outcomes. The overall tone of the game is being described as a fairy tale, but with a very sharp edge. The official tagline is fairy tale ending not guaranteed. If you make a bad call, you live with it. The world won't always give you a happy ending just because you're the protagonist. I can't wait for this game to be released. What about you? What will be the first thing you do after getting out in the open world? Let me know in the comments below.